אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, בימינו שלנו, בביאת המשיח, בביאת המשיח אני מאמין, בביאת המשיח, בביאת המשיח אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, בימינו שלנו, בביאת המשיח אני מאמין, ויפעל פי שישמח ויהיה, וימכור בזה אני מאמין, ויפעל פי שישמח ויהיה, וימכור בזה אני מאמין. בכל יום שיבוא, בכל יום Bisa sai brushaya Bisa sai brushaya Ula voides Hashem Yisburai Oy maski minas kumo
Frushai o Zekei lois hakoide La avoide Hashem mizbura Yimaski mim haskumoi Yimaski min haskumo Frushaya Yachad 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 Shivta Yisruai Vishirin Meilech Beisasai Frushaya Yachad 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 Shivta Yisruai Vishirin Meilech Beisasai Frushaya Yachad 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 Shivta Yisruai Vishirin Meilech Beisasai Frushaya Yachad Yachad Yachad
We ask everyone to join along in singing this special tefillah on behalf of all children at this tremendous Eis Ratzon.
Kodesh v'Hashem v'yikir Zakayim l'gadai Onim v'rayvonim Achomem l'gevaloim V'yayad v'yashem v'yayaloyim V'yanshayim Kodesh v'Hashem v'yikir Ayom v'yikir asoyilom V'toyrom v'asim toyvim U'b'chol v'leches avodas avoyim U'meyikir asoyilom V'toyrom v'asim toyvim U'b'chol Sabor
haboyim b'shem Hashem. Welcome all to the 13th Global Siyum Hashas Daf Yomi.
And then you can say, Yehem Chayenu is our life. That's what we live. We live for Torah.
The Torah is our joy and our ultimate protection. And this is why we're all here today.
An integral component of the anti-Jewish philosophy of the Nazis was its hatred for the Talmud. The title that they gave from Jews was Talmud Lehrers and Talmudische Juden. They proclaimed the learners and the teachers of the Talmud have the power to rebuild Judaism in America. And guess what? They were 100% correct. And you are those Talmud learners and those Talmudische Juden.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a keli, a vessel that holds bracha for Klal Yisrael. You want to see what that vessel is? Look around. Look around. Tens of thousands of Yidden here in Barclay Center, all over the world, listening to us. And why are we here? To give a cover to the Torah, cover to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Achrin, you made a Siyum of the Mishnah. You made an enormous Kiddush Hashem.
The greatest simcha is that we are maskil Torah from the Sinai. We are happy to see that when we're finished, we are not finished. Finished is only a beginning for the new one. We're going again and again and again. That's Torah. Adonallah, Sikas Nida, the Talmud Babli, Adonallah, Daitanallah, the Seches Nida, the Talmud Babli. It's Nashem, will not forget. Agabno, Noel Eines, the Bresa Rospa, the Pino, the Piers, and Pobes Israel.
Vagalogis, Mankariv, and Ru, Amen.
This day is a realization of that promise, that covenant which we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This gathering, probably the greatest since the Churban Beis HaMikdash. It is an expression of the words we say before reading the Shema every evening. Yehem Chayenu v'Arech Yomeinu. Torah is the lifeblood of the Jewish people. As we begin a new cycle of Shas, let us commit ourselves to the study and to the support of as much Torah as we're able.
The Riverboys and Paul Beis Yisrael that are here today are here to loudly proclaim Yaakov Avinu Loi Meis.
Yapapi sheismameya im kozeh achakilo.
Baruch Shem Kivod Malchusai V'Olam Voed.
Shema Yisrael!
Nidde, das haben wir Sabni, wir haben ja noch der Adar, noch ein Septis Nidde, das haben wir.
But you have to ask yourself the question, why not me?
Productions. You can see us on it looking up.
One. Go.
Lo yavo
Yerushalayim Shemalo Asher Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Eloi 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 Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Asher Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Eloi Eloi Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Asher Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Eloi Eloi Ovoy Asher Ovoy Eloi Eloi Ovoy Asher Eloi Eloi Ovoy Asher Ovoy Eloi Eloi Ovoy Asher Eloi Eloi Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Asher Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Eloi Eloi Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Asher Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo Asher Ovoy Yerushalayim Shemalo.
I can't see anything while written. Right, when are we starting? Pirchim abuim b'shem Hashem. Yes? Never before in the history of Pirchim Siyum have we merited to have such a Siyum like we have here tonight. Before we start, I would like to thank a few people for making this happen. First, Reb Levi Cohen from L'chaim, who worked so closely with Tesco, Gary, the manager of Tesco, to make this night happen. And furthermore, as I say, and I would also like to thank with a group of Askonim who every year in and out, they make this mini Siyum happen. And this year when they came onto the agenda, should there be a mini Siyum? And I think everyone here thought there won't be a mini Siyum. However, there was one man, as today I heard, he was labeled the Mike Tress of Manchester. He would never want me to say his name because of the Menachem Schleider sound who shies away from such a public audience. However, when he heard, he said, how can we let the children down? How can we let boys who have learned Mishnayos We have to make it happen. And tonight we are here together, making this happen, turning his dream into reality, and letting us know that Kihem Chayeni Va'erech Yomeini, you boys, your Mishnayos are what keeps us going. This is unprecedented this Siyum. However, Klal Yisrael knows in history it's never been unprecedented. Klal Yisrael lived through all times with the Mishnayos, with the Torah Shebechsav and Torah Shebapeh. Not so long ago, a few years ago in New York, there was a snow blizzard. And the famous Rashiva of Meir Reb Shmuel Birnbaum was stuck at home. The cars couldn't go, he couldn't get to yeshiva to give his share. And there he was sitting in his dining room, learning away. And when the time came to give his share, he said to himself, how can I not give the share? It's through Pilpul Chaverim, through the Pilpul of the Tamidim that I clarify the sugya. And he goes to the window to see what can he do. The snow is piled high. And then he sees an ambulance who's got special snow trains on his wheels driving through the street. And Reb Shmuel Birnbaum calls out Sola and he says, I have an emergency. I need to get to yeshiva to give the shir. And for Reb Shmuel Birnbaum, this was an emergency because he knew Torah Kihem Chayenu Va'erech Yomeini. And the Atzola sent an ambulance and they got him to yeshiva. And I can say tonight, this is going to resonate. This is what we see from the Askonim who refuse to say no. Kihem Chayeni Va'erech Yomeini. Torah is our life. Torah runs through us and Torah keeps us going. The mayor, who's saying Tehillim? And as tonight we will see, because this is the first time, we will be changing slightly the program because there has no been before like tonight. And it's now our covenant and privilege to call up the Mishkiach from Sha'ar Torah, Reb Shmuel Goldberg, to lead the Kapitel Tehillim. Reb Shmuel Shlita. Careful, there's a step here. There's a step here.
שיר למלויס אסויני אל ההורים מאין יבואי עזרי עזרי מאם אדוני עושי שמיים וארץ אל ייתן למוט רגלך אל ינום משמרך הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל אדוני שומרך אדוני צילך על יד ימינך יומם השמש לא יככה ויורח בלילה אדוני ישמורך מכל רע ישמור את נפשך אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד עולם
Mayor? What's going on, yeah? But tonight's Siyum, we're going to first start with the prizes b'rifnim. We know there's a thing that once before the war, there's a group of Nevadike Bocherim who were arrested by the communist regime and they were sent to jail. It was freezing in jail. There was a shortage of food. There was a shortage of blankets. However, without the Gemaras, they felt they had no life. And they sent a message back. We are allowed to receive food packages. Send us 23 food packages. Now, obviously, when they got the message back, they realized the number 23 must mean something. And they chapped the 23 daf in Mesechtes Makkos, and they were hinting, send us a Gemara Makkos. So they took the Gemara Makkos, they opened up a Mesechtes Makkos and tore out page by page and wrapped up food in a daf, and they sent 23 food packages into the jail. When Reb Lezer Rabinowitz, the Rav of Minsk, was asked, how were they allowed to do that? So they said for these Bocherim, a daf Gemara was Pekuach Nefesh, and not having the daf Gemara for them was not having life. And for Pekuach Nefesh, you were allowed to do it. We're going to start with the two prizes of boys who have learned Bifnim. The Mishnah is with them, and they prepared themselves. The first boy to be called up now. Before we call up any names, can we ask, please do not honk or hoot. Please do not honk or hoot. The first boy is from age 11. He learned 200 Mishnahs Bifnim, and we ask him to come forward. His name is Chanoich Ledenberg. And Lederberger, you may clap from your car, you can flash your headlights if you want, but please do not hoot. And followed by him, as we say, I think it's very right to say in this test car park, every little counts and every Mishnah adds, every Mishnah counts. We have Shaila Fried, age 11, with 207 Mishnayos. Please, both you, Chanach and Shaila, come forward. Yeah, and I'm going to call. Yeah? Who's going to get there? Who's going to present it? And now really, we are up to the climax of the first part of the Siyum. I would like to introduce you with a story. A few weeks ago, there was a moisid in Eretz Yisrael who made a huge raffle. The prize was many thousand shekel to be won. 3 weeks ago on Tuesday, they drew the raffle in presence of the Rav of the Moisid, and together standing there was a lawyer to make sure everything is done up dos v'din. The Rav was there, up he called them to the law, they had the lawyer there. They picked up the number and they put the number in their computer. The details came up of the name, whose name it was. However, there was a little glitch. The person, when he bought his ticket, he paid by credit card. And the credit card transaction did not go through. So is he the winner or not? So after a little nidin between the Rav and the lawyer and the Askonim, they decided to do the following. They're going to call up this person, and without telling him that his number was picked out, they're going to offer him the chance to pay again. And they dialed his number, and they said, Ramoshe, let's call him Ramoshe. We're calling from this Moisid. We see your transaction did not go through, your credit card transaction. Would you like to perhaps give us the details again, or would you like to perhaps give us another card? And this Ramoshe says, I'm very sorry, that's your problem. I've tried once, and if it didn't go, that's your problem. I'm not giving you the details again. Have a good day. And one of the people who were standing there said, this Ramoshe is such a fool. All he had to do was give his numbers of his credit card, pay a few shekel and win the huge prize of thousands of shekelim. And he said there are many of us, we do the same mistake in our life. We see a small thing and we think, who's got time for the small thing? And we walk over huge opportunities. Rabbi said the next name we're going to call up is someone who did not walk over small opportunities. There's a boy who was here by last year's mini Siyum. And I think the Askonim should hear this. This boy was inspired by last year's mini Siyum. And he walked out of there like many boys walked out of there. However, he decided to make a difference. He decided that by next Siyum, he is going to finish Shisha Sidra Mishnah. We're not talking about Mesechtes Pesachim and Mesechtes Sukkah and Rosh Hashanah. We're talking about Brochas Peah, Yudayim Uksin, Kalim and Oholois. And day after day, every evening you would set aside time. Every Shabbos afternoon you would set aside time. And this is a homegrown, inspired by last year's Siyum. He walked out of last year's mini Siyum of inspiration, and this year's Siyum, he is here, he verheard himself on thousands and thousands of Mishnayos. Now he didn't just sign a paper that he learned them. I've got here a slip which was written by those who verheard him. We have one Choshev Yinger man who verheard him b'fnim on 1,113 Mishnayos, and the comment he wrote was Toiv Ma'oid Ma'oid. The second younger man who verheard him on 1,368 Mishnayos b'fnim, his comment was excellent. He was verheard b'fnim over the last few weeks 2,481. Where did it come from? 2,481? Because he walked out of last year's mini Siyum inspired. He decided he's going to do something with it. He's not going to just be there, watch, and go home and talk about it for the evening. He's going to change his life, and his life has been changed for good. It's our greater covet and privilege to call up Habocher HaChoshev, not only to come up to fetch his prize, we go to honor him to say the Hadran, how befitting it is for him, who's learned through Mishnah after Mishnah, Zroim, Moed, Noshim, Nizikim, Kodshim, Taharis, through one inspiration of last year's mini Siyum. And his name is age 13. And his name is Shmuel Royd. Shmuel, please come forward. Please do not hoot. You can clap, you can open your windows and clap. Where's the music?
Kitzim Navir and Torah Azor. How did they go about removing the kelim from the Azor to mutar them after they were touched on Yom Tov by the Ami Ha'aretz who were not careful to keep themselves Torah? Matbirin the kelim shoy b'mikdosh, they will tovel all the kelim that were in the base of Mikdosh, except for the shulchan, which they didn't need to tovel, as we'll explain. V'oimim lehem, and he said to the Ami Ha'aretz who had before Yom Tov, Hizor shalusigu b'shulchan us tamu. Be very careful not to touch the shulchan and make it tummy. With the shulchan, we don't want to rely on toveling afterwards, because then the lechem upon him would have to be removed, and the Torah wants them to stay in their place the whole time. Kol hakelim shoy b'mikdosh, yesh lehem shniyim u'shlishim. All the kelim that were in the base of Mikdosh had the second copy and a third. Shem nitmu ha'oshedim, and if the first ones became tummy, yaviu shniyim tachteim, they could bring the second ones to use instead of them. Kol hakelim shoy b'mikdosh tun tevila. All the kelim that were in the base of Mikdosh needed to be toveled if they were touched by someone who was tummy. Chutz mi Mizbech Azov and Mizbech Hanachoshes, except for the golden Mizbech and the copper Mizbech, Venesha and Kakarka, because the Torah compares them to ground, and ground can never become Tommy. Divu Rabbi Eliezer. These words of Rabbi Eliezer. Achom Omim, Venesha and Mutzupin. The Chachamim argue and say that the Mizbechos can become Tommy because they are covered with metal. You mean to say that even though the Mizbech is made of wood and wooden kelim can't become Tommy if they are bigger than a certain size, nevertheless, since the wood of the Mizbech is covered with metal, we treat it as a metal keli which can become Tommy even if it's very big. Hadjan nog steeds de moed, we hadden galon. Daten nog steeds de moed, we daten galon. Lunissen shemi nog steeds de moed, sitten shemi non. Lubba allemaal den we lubba allemaal dossi. Hadjan nog steeds de moed, we hadden galon. Daten nog steeds de moed, we daten galon. Lunissen shemi nog steeds de moed, we sitten shemi non. Lubba allemaal den we lubba allemaal dossi. Hadjan nog steeds de moed, we hadden galon. Daten nog steeds de moed, we daten galon. Lunissen shemi nog steeds de moed, we sitten shemi non. Lubba allemaal den we lubba allemaal dossi. Hier zijn we vandaag gehad, nu jullie willen heel zien. Should he to ومن نسين بقول مزايا وسين من ليل من با خلينا بابا وامي بابا نحمة بابا أخي بابا بما بابا وافم بابا واخش بابا سوخ بابا عاد بابا دو بابا هاونا دنا اللي هنوس دو سوخ بفينو في سام خبيسو فيني أنا خد سيتوين سيتوين خبيسو كلوني يدش مخ ولين دي سوخ سوخ لشما ما تخاكمين مثل سوخ كل يوم هيلي يهيلي بيسوم بخك خل مان لو إيفش لو يوم اللي أشكخ بخدخ كيفام خيساني بوخد هادنا اللي مدين خك أمين سلوى مدام نحن وناخذ دنيا نولي هافسين شو سام تروح كين ميوش في بس مجلس ولا سام تروح كين ميوش في كونس شانو مشكيم وهي مشكيم أنا مشكيم الدويسو وهي مشكيم الدوام تيلم أنا أمين وهي ميلم أنا أمين كابن صخر وهي ميلم وإنهم كابن صخر أنا واتسم وهي واتسم أنا واتسم نخا هولم بوا وهي واتسم لبيع شخص شنو ما وعطولهم تودم لبيع شخص وان أنشي دوم ممر ليختو يمي واني أفتح بوخ يهوتم في نخا دنيا لهنم كشي مش عايزة تقولي نسايم سيد مويد كين تازوين لحسقو مسيختو سسفو مخيم ولسايمهم لما ليش مفلاسو سلكايم بس كل دوي سامو توسخ بعضو ونسخوش كلاتنا ومبوهم وسامي دخخم يعمد لون وزوينو شلو ساموش أتومي بينو مبيزوينو وزازوينو أدولهم بس كاين بونو بسلخ وتن خيسخ بشوخ بخوتيش مولخ وكسوسي هيس سخخو كيفي يبوني مخو يسيفو لخوشنيس خايم أخيم بيمنو بسم الله يشوف خود الدنيا يزعميتن الدنيا وختم شلون
Kaddish will be said by the Tzvi Kaufmal Nishmas, his father, Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yosef, the Parnas of Gateshead.
Skadalis Kadash, Shemir Abo, V'mo Dosid L'Chadasol L'Chayom Yisrael, L'Sakar Yisrael L'Chayom, L'Mivnei Karta Dushlim, Shachlala Yichlei B'Gava, L'Mei Kapochana L'Chra Minara, L'Asava Pochana Tishmael Asrei, V'Yamlich Kutche Brichu, V'Achusei V'Karei, V'Yatzmach V'Karnei V'Karei M'Shichei, V'Chai Chai V'Yemechai M'Chai D'Chol Beis Yisrael, Bagalov Zman Kariv Imru Amen, Yehei Shemei Rabbo Morach, Olam Omil Mayo, Yisparach Yishtabach Yisbar Yisrama Misnasei, Yisadov Yisalev Yisalol, Shmei D'Kucha B'Richu, Leila Mikal B'Chasav Shirasa, Tush B'Chasav V'Nechmasa, Tamron B'Ma V'Imru Amen, Al Yisrael V'Abonon Tamidei, Makol Tamidei Tamidei, Makol Mandos Kimaraisa, Tivas Radim Divu Chalasa Vasa, Yehei Elohim L'choin Shalom Rabbo Chinum Chesed Rachmin V'Chayin Arichin, V'Mzoyin Ervichei V'Konom V'Konom V'Vuin V'Shmaya V'Arav V'Imru Amen, Yehei Shalom Rabin Shemaya V'Chaim Toivim Aleinu V'Akad Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Oise Shalom Reima V'Brachma V'Yasa Shalom Aleinu V'Akad Yisrael V'Imru Amen.
Yeah.
Where do you live? For those of you who have been here by the previous mini Siyums, we know that through the night there are raffles. This year will be no different. There will be a raffle, however, there'll be a slight difference. Instead of the boy coming up the front to get his prize, the name that's picked out will announce his name. He should go to Harav Meir Bergman's house on 1 Westwood Avenue to fetch his prize. You want to pick out the raffle? Okay. We're going to pick out the first raffle for this evening. Oops. Oh, it's all in a bag. Okay. And the name that's come out is Chaim Tzvi Mankov. Chaim Tzvi Mankov, please fetch your prize from 1 Westwood Avenue. We all know on Sukkot, the children normally come home from school and ask the following question. Why do we celebrate Sukkot in Tishri and not celebrate it in Nisan? And we all know the famous answer from the Bis Yosef, I think it's from the Torah, that if we celebrate in Nisan, the world will think the reason why we're sitting in huts because it's nice weather. So in Tishri, when it's getting cold, we sit there to show we're doing it L'Shem Shemayim. Tonight, I feel, in all previous years, when we are sitting in a warm hall, being served hot food and enjoying it, it shows Hashem, yes, Torah is Ki'em Chayeni. But this year, when we are out here in our cars, the world has come to a standstill. And here we are in the rain, in the cold, and we're telling Hashem, as it says on the notice, Torah doesn't change, Yiddishkeit doesn't change, Mishnayos doesn't change, and there's only one reason why we're here. Because we Am Yisrael, Yisrael ve'ereisa v'yikitche b'richa v'Yisrael ve'ereisa chati. Hashem, we are the Torah is ki'em chayeni v'erech yemeini. It's our privilege now to call upon our Boche Sruli Weingarten to say a Dvar Torah, to show that yes, Hashem, Teuer Yikodshe Berichi, Ve'eraiso, V'Yisrael Chati. Soli Weingarten, please come forward.
The Menorah Samoa tells a story about a special Yid. He was a great Yid, but he was not a big Talmud Chacham who knew Shas. In fact, he knew only one Masechta, and that was Chagiga. However, that one Masechta which he knew very well, because he used to go to a quiet place where he sat and learnt, and did Chazor of Chagiga many, many times. He spent his entire life learning Chagiga again and again. One day he was at home all alone, and he was nifta with no one around to look after him and attend to his levaya or kavura. All of a sudden, a lady appeared and started to cry and wail loudly, attracting the attention of the local people. When they came to see what the great commotion was all about, she told them, "This great man looked after me his whole life and made sure that I was not abandoned or ignored. He was a great tzaddik. Make him a levaya and give him a lot of covered. If you do that, Hashem will give you a great reward in Olam Haba." They made him a great hesped and a special levaya. When people asked that lady what she was called, she gave a very unusual name. She said that her name was Chagiga. After the levaya, the lady called Chagiga disappeared. At this point, everyone realized that that lady was actually the Masechta Chagiga who had come to this world in the form of a lady to look after the person who had spent his whole life learning Chagiga. Chazal are teaching us that the Torah that we learn becomes our best friend and is a zechus for us in Shemayim. All of us have learned Mishnayos. Some of us have learned a lot, some of us could only manage a little. But did you realize that these Mishnayos are our best friends? If we learn them well, however much we manage, they watch over us from above and care about us, looking after and protecting us from harm. Let us keep up our great work, each one of us, in the best way we each can, and will Be'ezus Hashem make friends with each and every Mishnah who will look out for us and help us in ways we can't imagine.
Can we ask the following names to come forward and stand under the gazebo? Gabi Lobenstein, Ari Bax, Chaim Zilberger, Yossi Meiselmann, Chaim Lloyd, Moshe Steinhaus, Shmoli Barnett, and Aaron Lewin. Can they please come forward and make their way forward and stand under the gazebo? Yes? And Yitzi Englad. That's Gabi Lobenstein, Avi Bax, Chaim Zilberger, Yossi Meiselmann, Chaim Lloyd, Moshe Steinhaus, Shmoli Barnett, and Aaron Lewin, and Yitzi Englad. Please make your way under the gazebo. Before we start calling up the prizes, I would like to share with you a story. Harav Lau says over the following story. There was a bocher before the war who learned in one of the European yeshivas in Poland, and he was extremely close to the Rosh Yeshiva. To say he held the Rosh Yeshiva like his father and he felt like his son. Sadly, the wind of the war started blowing across Europe, and the Rosh Yeshiva said he is not leaving his bocherim, he's staying with them. Till the bitter end, the Nazis, Yamach Shemom, came and took over Poland. The Rosh Yeshiva was separated from his Talmidim. And this bocher survived the war, and he heard the tragic news as Rosh Yeshiva Lo Yoleinu with the 6 million Yidden perished in the concentration camp. However, he was determined to find out, are there any survivors of the family of the Rosh Yeshiva's sons or daughters? He followed any lead possible. He asked where he went. Eventually, he found out that there's a daughter alive. There was a daughter of his Rosh Yeshiva, of his Rebbe, who survived the war and was living in a city in Belgium. However, he heard that the daughter survived the war physically, but sadly not spiritually. Sadly, after the war, she gave up on Yiddishkeit and married out. And this Talmud was devastated. This is the only link to his Rebbe. And this is what is left. He decided he has to do something. He managed to get hold of the address, and he wrote letters to this woman, and he received no replies. In those days, phones were a very rare commodity, and people did not have home phones. He managed to get hold of the number in the company where she worked, and she called up and asked to speak to this lady. And they put her on the phone, and as soon as he said who he is, she just put the phone down. The line, that was it. The line was quiet. She had put the phone down. He was determined to make sure the legacy of the Rosh Yeshiva, the family of his Rosh Yeshiva, continues. And he decided no other option. He has to fly over to Belgium. He flies over to Belgium. And he has the address. And he drives up to the house with the driver. And he knocks on the door. She opens the door and sees him standing there and says, "Let me live the life I want to live," and slams the door in his face. And he knows this is his last chance. It's either now or never. The image of his Rosh Yeshiva was before him. How can I let my Rosh Yeshiva down? And he stood there by the door and he knocked and he knocked and he knocked. For 1 hour, he did not give up. He knocked and he knocked. After an hour, the lady opened the door. And she asked, "What do you want?" And he had siyata d'shmai. He said, "All I want is a cup of water. I've been standing here for an hour. Please, can I have a cup of water?" Her facial expressions relaxed. And she says, "Fine, I'll get you a cup of water." And then he says, "I've been standing out here in the cold for an hour. Do you mind if I come in and sit down while I drink it?" She said, "Fine." And as he's sitting there, he says, "Your father was my father. Tell me, how was my Rebbe Nifter?" And she shares with him the last moment was his father. He was he's wrapped in talis and tefillin. He was davening when Lo Yaleini Yemach Shemom came along, and his neshama yotzu al Kiddush Hashem. And he sat there and cried. Then after a few moments, he got up to leave. And as he was about to leave the door, he turned to her and said, "I just want you to know, the key is in your hand." And she looked at him and says, "What key?" She said again, "I repeat, your father has left the key in your hands." And he said, "What key?" And he starts walking down the path. And she follows into the car and says, "What key?" He says, "I repeat, your father has left the key in your hands." And he opens the door to the car and he turns to her and says, "There's a war going on between the Koyach HaTumah. The Nazis, Yemach Shemam, do not want Yiddishkeit to continue. They might have won the first round. They might have killed your father, 6 million Yidden. But the key is in your hand to make sure that we win the second round." And the Kalal Yisrael continues having B'nai Torah, Yidden who learn Torah. And with that, he went into the car and told the driver, "Turn on the engine, but do not move away." She walks back in the house, and after 2 or 3 minutes, the curtain opens and she looks out. And she comes out to the car and says, "I have a child who's sadly being brought up in a Goyish school. Please take my child and bring him up al pi Torah, that my father's legacy should continue and we should win the war." He said, "Without you, I can't do anything. Your child doesn't know me." Says, "Fine, I'm going to pack my suitcases and join you." And she went. She took a suitcase and joined them and flew back to Eretz Yisrael with their son. And Rav Lau says he knows this boy is grown up to be a Choshverov. And I say, Rabbi Isai, the war is still going on between the Koyach HaTomeh and Koyach HaKdusha. And the key to win the war lies with each and every one of us here. Each and every boy who's taken on a Mishnah, another Mishnah, another Mishnah, is making sure we win the next round in the war, and the Koyach HaKdusha will be there. It's our covered and privilege to first call up. We missed out one bifnim, Gabi Lobenstein, 200 Mishnayos bifnim. Then we have Ari Bax, 25 Mishnayos Balpeh. Chaim Zilberger, 55 Mishnayos Baal Peh. Yossi Meiselman, age 10, 50 Mishnayos Baal Peh. Chaim Lloyd, 50 Mishnayos Baal Peh. Moshe Steinhaus, it might sound one Mishnah difference, but every Mishnah counts, every Mishnah helps. Moshe Steinhaus, 51 Mishnayos. Shmuley Barnett, and every Mishnah counts, and another Mishnah, 52 Mishnayos. We have Alan Lewin, age 9. Age 9, 57 Mishnayos. And finally, ending off this group is Yitzi Englert, age 8. I repeat, age 8. He learned 80 Mishnayos Baal Peh. Please come forward to receive your prize.
Ay, 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 sí,
second number out. We asked Moishi Rose, Ben Ha'asker Reb Gershon Rose to pick the next raffle. And the next raffle is... Who's it? Golovenchik? Remea? Is this Yitzchak Golovenchik? Okay, the boy's name that was picked out is Yitzchak Golovenchik, phone number 07528-868-055. Please go make your way either tomorrow to Ramea Bergman's house, 1 Westwood Avenue, to fetch your prize. Please, choir, boys choir, Fortune boys choir, please can you come up? No idea what I'm doing. Moishi, good job. You know who you picked up? I got no idea who it is.
Thank you very much.
Can we just call up the following boys to come forward and to stand here under the gazebo? Shimon Schiffer, David Zolowansky, Zwicky Falk, Shmuel Falk, Yossi Moshkowitz, Avrom Dov Rappaport, Yisrael Menachem Schechter, Zwicky Einhorn, Neuer Zwi Bonner, Shimon Ossengat, Gershon Schiffer, Yisrael Purim, and Moshe Abeles. Okay, we're going to pick another raffle. And the name that came out is Yossi Emmanuel. Yossi Emmanuel, please go to Ramea Bergman's house tomorrow, 1 Westwood Avenue, to fetch your prize. Ramea. It was in the year Tovshin Ches 1948. The enemies were sharpening their swords and weapons, getting ready to start the war with the Yiddish Kehillah in Yerushalayim. The atmosphere was one of fear and panic. No one knew what tomorrow would bring. Everyone was trying to set up some sort of protection to save their families. There was one younger man called Reb Zalman Brizel who was walking around with a different worry. He was not afraid of the enemy, for he relied on Hashem that he would accept their tefillahs and protect them. His worry was, if he'll be stuck in a bunker or have to flee from place to another, he would not have the opportunity to learn Torah. That was his fear in these crazy times. But the solution was found. Reb Zalman was on a mission to make sure that he knew a few mesechtas of Mishnayos off by heart. He was to make sure that he knew them fluently. These Mishnayos, no one will be able to take away from him. During all the turmoil that was taking place in the streets, people were filling up sandbags, but Reb Zalman could be found learning Mishnah after Mishnah, one perek after another perek. After all, he was stockpiling the basic necessity in case of war. The enemies attacked. The Yidden sat in the bunkers or basement and closed in sandbags from outside. From outside, the explosions and gunfire could be heard. But inside was the voice of Reb Zalman doing chazor on his Mishnayos. There might have been a shortage of food, but for Reb Zalman there was no shortage of food for his neshamas. The next group of boys we're about to call up are the ones who have no shortage of food for their neshamas. They've learned Mishnayos Baal Peh, and it's these Mishnayos, wherever they go, they have these Mishnayos with them, and wherever they go, they can do chazorah on it. We're now moving up to the group starting with 100. We have our bocher Shimon Schiffer, age 9, who's learned 100 Mishnayos. Please, as I call your name up, come forward, take your prize, and then go down. Take the prize from the table. Then we have David Zolowansky, age 11, 100 Mishnayos. And then we know Eine Doime, Meo LaMeo Ve'echod. We have Zwicky Falk, age 11, and Shmuel Falk, age 10, 101 Mishnayos. Are they brothers? Are they brothers? You got another one here. Yossi Moshkowitz, age 11, 110 Mishnayos. You got Yossi there? The next one is age 9. Age 9. And he's learned 122 Mishnayos at the age of 9, and his name is Avrom Dov Rappaport. Avrom Dov, please come forward. The next one is a name that's familiar to me. Yisroel Menachem Shechter, 132 Mishnayos. So Menachem. Then we're moving on to Tzviki Einhorn, age 10, 151 Mishnayos, age 10. Then we're moving up to the 200s. We have age 11, Noach Tzvi Bonner, 220 Mishnayos. Noach Tzvi, please come forward. Then we're going down in age and up in Mishnayos. Shemen Nossengat, age 10, 241 Mishnayos. That's age 10, 241 Mishnayos. Gershon Schiffer, age 11, 250 Mishnayos. Yisroel Purim, 333 Mishnayos. Yisroel. The next one is age 12, Moshe Abeles. I have to mention, yes, Moshe, we are proud of you for many reasons. 351 Mishnayos. Moshe, please come forward. Moshe, I thought I recognized your name. And the last one on this group. No, Moshe. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you. Once Rabbi Chona Wasserman Hashem Yinkodoma came fundraising to London for his yeshiva in Baranovich. Rabbi Moshe Sternbuch Shlita, who was then a bocher, accompanied him. Once they were traveling together on a bus, and in those days the bus seats were upholstered, and Rav Chanan was concerned that perhaps the cloth is made with shatnez. And there are some opinions that hold it's forbidden to sit on a shatnez cloth, therefore Rabbi Chanan remained standing. In those days there was a law that if there's an empty seat on the bus, it's forbidden to stand. When the conductor of the bus saw Rabbi Chanan standing, whilst there was an empty seat next to him, he yelled at Rabbi Chanan, "Sit down, you're breaking the law. Sit down, there's an empty seat." And Rabbi Chanan, who could not speak English, turned to Rav Moshe Shlita and asked him if he can explain to the driver why he's standing. So Rav Moshe turned to the conductor and said, "The seat is not kosher." The conductor became infuriated and screamed, "I didn't ask him to eat the seat. I asked him to sit down." And he instructed Rab Chanan to get off the bus, and that's what Rab Chanan did. He left the bus and walked the rest of the way. Our guest speaker tonight is someone who trains Bochum B'Simcha that kashrus is not about food. Kashrus is every step in your day in your life. You have to make the decision, the right decision, to make sure everything is kosher al pi halacha in every move you do. It's our privilege here tonight to have the Mishkiach of Yeshiva L'Tzirim, Ramotcha Litwin, to inspire us and give us words of brocha and chizik. Ramotcha Litwin Shlita.
At the 13th Siyum Mishnayos in England, it was in Manchester, and the boys, the Pirchim, were holding fire torches, and they were walking down Bury New Road to a hall where they were going to celebrate the Siyum Mishnayos. And the guest speaker, the Manchester Rosh Hashiva, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, he stood up in front of the 100 of boys and he said the following story. The Manchester Rosh Hashiva said that when the Chofetz Chaim was a young boy, when the Chofetz Chaim was the age of you, Pirchi, tonight, he had a chevra, he had a bunch of friends, and as boys at a younger age have, and even at an older age, they were thinking what chevra man shtick, what shtick they could do in their town. And they decided, they said, you know, the water carrier, he carries buckets of water every day. It's ice cold, it's winter nights. Let's take his buckets at night, let's fill them with water, and when he gets up in the morning, it will be the greatest joke. There will be rock ice. He'll pick up his bucket. He won't be able to do the water. That was their plan. That was their plan for that night. And they went, they filled it with water, and the Chofetz Chaim was a young boy then, and he crept up after they had left. The Chofetz Chaim, the little Yisrael Meir, went down and he took those buckets, he poured the buckets out, and he made sure that the next morning, the water carrier wouldn't get this embarrassment. Said the Manchester Rosh Hashiva to the Pirchim, he said, the Chofetz Chaim, Rabbi Yisrael Meir, was a young boy like all of you tonight. Every single one of us, when we're young, we have different ideas, we have different friends, which may try to give us hashpos. And even at a young age, we have the power to make a decision and say, no, I'm not going to do that. And yes, I'm going to do the right thing. Tonight, we're celebrating the simcha that in our generation, we have hundreds of boys which are appreciating what's the right thing to do. And even though there may be hashpos, Baruch Hashem, there's hundreds and thousands of mishnayos that should be learned tonight. That is what we're celebrating. Moirav Rabbi, what? When the Beis Hamikdash is in this world, is here. What is the most holy place in the world? Everybody knows it's the Kodesh HaKadoshim. What's in the Kodesh HaKadoshim? In the Kodesh HaKadoshim is the Oroin where the Torah is kept. And what's on the Oroin, the Kruvim? Moreover, Rabbi Sai, the Torah tells us that there's something which is very special about the Kruvim. The Torah tells us that many of the items of the Klei HaMishkan were gold. But the Pasuk says explicitly by the Kruvim, they have to be made of Zohov, nothing else, not Kesef. Asks Rameh Shapiro, why by the Kruvim? Why especially by the Kruvim does the Torah says they have to be gold? Listen to what Rameh Shapiro tells us. Says Rameh Shapiro that the Kruvim are the symbol of our young children. Our young children which are learning Torah. Our children, each one of you here tonight. Each one of you that can hear what we're saying. Remember, says Rameh Shapiro, you are gold. You are pure gold. You are the most precious thing that Klal Yisrael have. You are the most precious thing that the Rabbeinu Shleilim has in his world. The Rabbeinu Shleilim says, Chazu, Chazu, Bonai, Chavivai. The Torah that you're learning is gold. It's the most precious thing we have in the world. When the Ponevezh Rav built Ponevezh Yeshiva, he wouldn't settle for anything less than a golden Oren HaKodesh to remind us that we are pure gold. The Bnei Torah, especially the young children, which are learning Bahasmoda, and with Cheshek, you are gold. Tonight, the Rabbonim, your parents, have come here to celebrate that we are Zoicha to have children which are Loim de Torah, which are pure gold. In Rameh Shapiro, when he built his Yeshiva's Chachmei Lublin, the most splendorous yeshiva that the world ever had at that generation, he made a golden key which this key would open up the door of the yeshiva by the ceremony, by the Chanukah Sabayis. And everybody was waiting to see who's Rameh Shapiro going to give the key to. Which Rebbe, which Rosh Hashiva, which Godel. And Rameh Shapiro went to one of the Bochrim, one of the young Bochrim, and he said, you go open the yeshiva. He wanted to show all of us that there's nothing more precious than someone that's learning Torah. It's pure gold, mamash. The Rob Shitzerov says, a Moirdi Gezach, if we look at the first Mishnah in Shas, it starts with the letter Mem. And we look at the last Mishnah in Shas, it finishes off with the letter Endemem. Asks the Rob Shitzerov, why does the Torah start with the letter Mem and finish with the Endemem? In order to understand this Rob Shitzerov, let me tell you an unbelievable story. In the 1700s, there was a famous king in the 1700s called King Frederick. King Frederick was a very powerful king. He was very, very powerful and very rich. And he went on a tour. He went to check, he went to see how his soldiers are doing. And he went to one of the battalions. And King Frederick went and he sees at the battalion, he sees there's a soldier there that has a chain which is coming down from his uniform, which normally would hold a watch. But this soldier didn't have a watch. This soldier had a bullet. This soldier had a shining bullet hanging off the chain. And King Frederick is in a very jolly mood. He goes up to him and he says to him, what have you got there? He says, what? Are you looking for a watch? And King Frederick takes out his golden diamond pocket watch and he starts waving it in the sun. And the diamonds are shining in the sun. He says to them, what time does it say on your watch? Making fun of him, because he knows he doesn't have a watch. All he has is a bullet, which is tied onto the chain. And he says to the soldier, tell me, what time does it say on your bullet? Listen to what the soldier told the king. He said, this bullet is on my chain. It doesn't have the time. It doesn't have the hours. It doesn't have the minutes. It doesn't have the seconds. You know what this bullet is telling me? This bullet is telling me that wherever I go, wherever I am carrying a bullet which is there to look after my king. Long live the king. He said this bullet doesn't have minutes, doesn't have seconds, doesn't have hours. But this bullet is demonstrating my loyalty to my king. Moira v'Rabosai, when we learn Torah, when in this generation we are learning Torah Basmoda like all of you are, we are holding the bullets which are Shmira for Klal Yisrael. Says the Rob Shitzarov, the Torah finishes off with a letter and a mem and starts with a mem. When we say mem, we open up our mouth. We can't finish the letter mem until we close our mouth again. The end of mem is a closed mem. It's surrounded from all sides. Moira v'Rabosai, the thing which keeps us solid. The king, the thing that shows our loyalty to the king, to the Melech, Malchi, Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is the Torah. Torah is our bullet. Torah is our golden bullet. Torah is what has kept Klal Yisrael from the day the world was created. And this is what we are celebrating tonight. Each and every one of you have a golden bullet. Every word of Torah is another bullet, which is proclaiming our power to stay Kodesh v'Tohor, to be devoted to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every word of Torah that we learn is demonstrating our loyalty to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Meirav Rabosai, look behind me, you'll see a screen. You'll see technology. You'll see technicians. Tonight, the Askonim and the Rabbonim have come and be Moise Nefesh for us to remind ourselves. It may be a virus, the world may be going crazy, but we still have Torah, and we're using the technology to demonstrate our nemonas to the Rabbeinu Shalom, our love for Torah, which is pure gold. And remember tonight, you, each and every one of you, are the golden kruvim. Tomorrow, when you're going to go and you're going to learn Torah, even tonight, remember, the Rabbeinu Shalom is there in Shemaim, and he's saying, in such a world, I have Klal Yisrael which are holding strong, which are being Moise Nefesh and enjoying the beauty of Torah. We should all, Be'ez Hashem, take a gewaltige chizuk from the Mishnayos which have learned and appreciate the koiches and the gift that we have to be B'nai Torah, the gift that we have to be the golden kruvim and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Orain. We should all be able to continue to appreciate that. And each and every one of you should remember that we're holding those golden bullets. And Be'ez Hashem, with this, we're going to dance Keneged Mashiach Tzedkeinu B'meheira v'yameinu. Amen.
We're now going to pick another raffle, and we're going to ask Habocha Choshev Ben Yomin Rose from Eitz Chaim to pick the next raffle. There you are. You want to put it down? And Ben Yomin has picked Misholem Cohen 07982431293. Please make tomorrow, go to Rav Bergman's house to fetch your prize. 1 Westwood Avenue. One of the children of Reb Shimshon Pincus was in his father's car, and he found in the door, in the little pocket in the door, a ticket from the Ramat Gan Safari Park. He was curious, why did his father have a safari park ticket? He assumed his father must have found someone who needed a bit of chizik and took him to do a chesed. We know Reb Shimshon was about chesed in all areas. And he asked his father, Tati, is my assumption correct that you took someone to the safari park? And his father said no. He says, it's a single ticket and I went there myself. And he then went on to tell his son what happened. I was driving from Bnei Brak back home to Ofakim, and a few minutes after I left, I just passed the Coca-Cola junction there, the entry of Bnei Brak, when suddenly I had a new insight into a piece of Gemara in Mesechtes Ksobos. And I thought, with this new Chiddush, I can solve many difficult questions on the Sugya. And I knew I had to pull over to a quiet place to work through the Sugya and go through all the details while the Chiddush was fresh in my mind. The roads were busy, and I could not find a quiet place. And I knew if I wait till I get back home to Afakim, the Chiddush might slip through my fingers. It was then when I noticed the safari park. And Hashem gave me the idea that this is the perfect place to work through the Sugya Mesechtes Ksubas. I paid the entry ticket, pulled up to the quiet corner of the safari park. I did not notice the animals there, the elephants or the lions, but I worked through the Sugya Mesechtes Ksubas. After 2 hours, when I gotten clear, I left. When I was clear in the Sugya. And those who bring down the story say, who knows? Perhaps the whole reason Hashem gave the idea to the mayor of Ramat Gan 50 years ago to open the safari park was that Rab Shimshon can have a mini base of Medrash to work through a Sugya. We have immense Hakoras Atoiv to Tesco for allowing us to use their car park to turn it into a mini base of Medrash. However, if I may ask, please, they've gone out of the way to make it available to turn this car park into a place of a Kiddush Hashem. And can we please make sure it remains a place of a Kiddush Hashem and make sure there's no litter left around anyone's car? We would like to ask the following 4 boys to come forward and stand under the gazebo. Ben Zion Roth, Moishi Royd, Avrom Yeshua Schwartz, and Yossi Halping. And the 4 of you please come forward. We're now going to start calling up, getting closer to the top. We're going to call up the 3rd top prize. Anyone who's learned Yoredeah knows that there's a famous Sefer on Yoredeah called Medanai Shulchan, written by Rabinovich from Yeshalayim, the father of Gamliel Rabinovich. However, not many know the story behind the first volume that he wrote. He was a Melamed in Eitz Chaim in Yeshalayim, and he devoted most of his day for his Talmidim. However, Reb Levi Rabinovich, when he would come home in the evening, he would write a few lines, and every night he would spend another few lines here, another few lines there, working through the halacha. And he pushed himself day after day, year after year, and finally after 30 years, yes, 30 years of clarifying halach siman after siman, sif by sif, he gave out the first volume of Medanai HaShulchan. It was only after the first volume was given out that he saw I was accepted in the Torah world, that he devoted himself more to write the other volumes. Rabbi Yisai, we're about to call up the next boy. It doesn't come easy, but it comes, which we see from all our Talmidei Chachomim, it comes from persistence. We try and we continue Mishnah after Mishnah. And it's our covered to call up age 11, who's learnt 410 Mishnayos. That means day after day, Mishnah after Mishnah, he's pushed himself, and his name is Ben Zion Roth, age 11, 410 Mishnayos. Ben Zion, please come forward to fetch your prize. We would now like to call up the second top winner of tonight. However, we have to look and see. Here's a boy, age 11, who started with one Mishnah and didn't stop there and continued and continued. And we have to look at him and say, if he can do it, we can do it. Age 11, and he learned 431 Mishnayos Baal Peh. 431, but remember it started with the 1 and then it got to the 431. We all have to start from 1 and inspire ourselves. If he can do it, we can do it. And as a größer covered to call on Moshe Royd, age 11, who learned 431 Mishnayos, to come forward and fetch his prize. Yeah. Reb Gamliel Rabinovich tells over the following story. There was a Talmud Choch from Yerushalayim who had been searching for a maramokim of a medrash that he seen quoted in Sforim. He looked up many Sforim and asked many great Talmidei Rachomim, but to no avail. He then turned to some Torah computer programs that can do searches, but even those could not churn out the source. One of his friends suggested go to Bnei Brak, the Sa'ar Torah Reb Chaim Kanievsky Shlita, who has Torah on his fingertips, and ask him for the source of the Medrash. So one evening, he traveled to Bnei Brak and stood in the queue of those waiting to consult with Reb Chaim Shlita. When his turn came, he was greeted warmly by Reb Chaim, and then he put forward his question. He said, I've seen a medrash quoted in some early Sforim, but I can't locate the source. As soon as Reb Chaim heard the medrash, he said, it's in Shir HaYichid, which many people say on Yom Kippur night after Mariv. Reb Chaim asked on Yom Kippur Machzor to be bought. He opened it up to the correct page and showed him the word of the medrash. With that, the meeting had ended, and it was the next person's turn to enter. But this Talmud Chochem was so shocked and astounded how Reb Chaim had the source, the maramokim of this medrash within a second. He just stood there and he froze. How is it possible for a human being to have such Yedias HaTorah? And he said, Rebbe, I can understand Shas Bavli Yeshalmi, I can understand the Rov is fluent in and knows off by heart. But Shir HaYichid, how does the Rov know a Shir HaYichid off by heart? And with a smile on his face, Reb Chaim replied, everything depends on what one is interested in. Other people are interested in the news and the nonsense of the world. They remember all the details and points. However, I've never been interested in anything else besides for Torah. On the contrary, the sweet Chidoshim that are quoted in Shir HaYichid really piqued my interest, and that is why I remember it. We are about to call up the top prize, which is a joint top prize with two boys. But these two boys have shown where their interest lies. Yes, there's many interests out there. There's other things to find your interest in. But these two boys have decided their interest is going to be a Mishnayos. And they're going to learn Mishnah after Mishnah. And maybe when others are busy doing other things, they're working on eternity, on Nitzchias, being koine Mishnah after Mishnah. And if each of us here has to know, if they can do it, we can do it. Reb Aryeh Shechter, the famous Mashpia who was nifter last year, said over a story which happened with him. He was close to the Chazon Ish Zatzal, and he relates the last visit he had with the Chazon Ish was 2 weeks before the Chazon Ish was nifter. He is a bocher and he came to the Chazon Ish's house, and the door was locked. He went around and he saw the Chazon Ish on the marpeset, on the balcony. And the Chazon Ish said to him, Reb Aryeh, is that you? And he said, yes. So Reb Aryeh Shechter said, the door is locked. So the Chazon Ish said to him, climb over the fence. There was a tall fence there. So Reb Aryeh tried to climb over the fence. His hat went flying. His jacket fell off his shoulders and he fell down. And he tried again and he fell down. And he tried again and he fell down. And he tried again and he fell down. But he was determined to get inside to the Chazon Ish. And he continued and eventually he got over. And the Chazon Ish with a big smile on his face told him, that is life. A person has to know he has to try and he might fall. He'll try again and he might fall again. He'll try again. But a person must never get put off from trying, because in the end you will succeed. And each of one of us here has to look at these two precious boys, Chosheva boys who have decided to try. Maybe it was difficult, maybe they failed at the beginning, but they didn't give up. And they were koine Mishnah after Mishnah. And here they are tonight. It's a koved and a zechus to call up Yossi Halpern, age 11, and An Yeshua Schwartz, age 10. Both of them who have learned 502 Mishnayos. That's 502 Mishnayos. Ashreichem, Ashreichem. And his father and his Zaydes, and Mazel Tov to Yossi, to his father and his Zaydes, Womanachas and Beide. Two small announcements. Number one, to remember to say Ala Michya. And number two, we all remember in school how it was when we were young and the bell went and everyone tried to get out the fast. Here, Baruch Hashem, there's no children driving cars and they're all driven by adults. Please remember, it's going to be left in an order. We're going to go one by one, the front row first. Please follow instructions on the marshal. Everyone will get out first. Everyone will get out in order. The rows are blocked, and believe it or not, the Askonim who are here the first will be leaving the last. You will not be the last. Please follow the instructions as you are told, and it's going to be row by row. Please make a Kiddush Hashem. Let end off with a Kiddush Hashem. Thank you. Leave the way you came in.